I'm a big attitude guy, and this whole idea that life is 10% what happens to me, 90% how I react to it. Inevitably, I think all the things that I've been through have been for a reason. I wouldn't change it for the world.
Every day, when Texas coach Steve Sarkisian puts on his burnt orange and white, he sees it. The 12-inch scar on his chest, a reminder of a moment in the summer of 2020 when he was an Alabama assistant that nearly cost him everything.
So at Alabama, it's a prerequisite every year that you go through an executive physical. So every summer, you go to Birmingham, making sure your heart's okay.
I've done it for a long time because my dad passed when he was 46, so there was always a little concern there that maybe you need to make sure you're okay. And then I wanted everybody to share that same sort of opportunity to make sure that they were healthy.
One of our physicians in Birmingham, where the physical was done, he called me and said, "We've got a problem." Never had we seen something this dire or this critical that had to be managed and managed immediately.
The physical revealed Sarkisian had an aneurysm in his heart, the result of a leaky valve. And while most people are born with 3 heart valves, Sarkisian learned he was born with 2. He says he had no idea until the physical.
They said, well, what you have is the widowmaker. The medical world doesn't label something a widowmaker if it's not very serious. If you have an aneurysm, they'll monitor it up to 3 centimeters. If you hit 3 or above, they want to go in and repair it. So by the time they diagnosed mine and went in to look at it, I was at 6.5 centimeters.
He was literally a ticking time bomb. If we don't get this fixed, this is going to be a major issue.
4 days after his diagnosis, Sarkisian had life-saving open heart surgery. After the procedure, he would have to relearn how to walk and talk.
It's like rebooting your computer. And I didn't want to go back to the office until I felt like I was really physically prepared to go do it. I got up early one morning and I went on about a 2-mile walk. And that was the first time I'd really walked by myself. I had to go up a pretty good hill in our neighborhood. And I remember sitting down kind of on the curb thinking, well, if you can't do this, you can't coach. Like you're not going to be physically able to do it. So I got up and I walked to the top of this hill and I turned around and walked back and I was drenched in sweat. I didn't want to be stuck in my house. I needed to be back around our players and coaching those guys. And that was probably the best thing that could have ever happened to me.
Sarkisian returned to the Crimson Tide in time for training camp, about 3 weeks after surgery. As offensive coordinator, he helped lead Alabama to its 18th national championship before leaving Tuscaloosa at the end of the season for the head coaching job at Texas.
Anytime I talk about my journey, my career, where we're at today, I would not be here without Nick Saban. To have this executive physical, he saved me.
He probably saved my life a few times by doing a great job while he was here, so we're kind of even, I think.
Sark knows that's it. Texas comes into Tuscaloosa and snaps a 21-game home field win streak.
The scar reminds me of we can overcome a lot. And just because we hit a roadblock in our life, we don't have to stay there, right? We can get on the other side of it and keep charging forward. And so I'm a better coach today. I'm a better man today because of that.